Do it for Lord Sakai. Lord Sakai!
I don't understand.
Oh, yo! Oh my God. Okay. This is our first retro discussion review, whatever you want to call it. We gotta wait like 20 seconds before we can start talking crazy. Midnight Club 2, is it good in 2026? Let's talk about it. First and foremost, I do want to say that y'all, first of all, W poll selection, all right? I just want to say that. But at some point during the game, I was so pissed that I wanted to come into the comment section and I wanted to call everybody racial slurs, but I wanted each one to be unique to every person that watched, so I would need thousands of them bitches because y'all was driving me insane. You know, y'all are trolls. Y'all pick stuff just to see if I get upset about it. It has nothing to do with the quality of the game. I could put amazing games next to rage games and I can guarantee y'all gonna pick the stuff that hurts. Part of that is because we're a community of masochists. I have masochistic tendencies and so do you. And I know some of y'all played the game and y'all got y'all heads bust, so y'all wanted to see me experience the same thing. See, I'm talking all this shit, but I realize that I'm the same way, okay? This is like therapy, because I promise you, Ricky and Trey are going to play this game. I don't know how we're going to get them to do it, but they're both live streamers, and trust me, I will go in and hijack the community like I've done before, and we will have them playing this greatness. Anyway, so Midnight Club 2 came out April 2003. I have some notes written down. Just, you know, we kind of just one take, baby. One take, a little different format than the other reviews. Those are more structured. This will kind of be me just talking. I'll have some clips in here to tell y'all. So, 2003, and I will say also, this was the first time I played Midnight Club 2. I unfortunately ain't have no money. I was broke as hell back in the day. So a lot of the games that y'all see me playing from previous generations is stuff that I missed, with some exception. So I have been playing the Midnight Club series in reverse. My first one was Midnight Club LA for the PS3. Then we did Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition remix a couple years ago. Had a blast on there, but that game drove me up the wall as well. And then here we get Midnight Club 2. And I said, you know, when I first started, I'm kind of running through the races a little bit, because whole time y'all like, yo, you ain't beating this game, you'll never finish it, wait till he gets to Tokyo, he doesn't understand. And I'm playing like, cause the three people on the cover is like the first few racers you run into. So I'm playing and I'm like, it ain't that bad. I said that shit.
Damn, dude, close one.
How this game harder? How this game harder than the other one? Huh? And as time went on, I realized that I was in over my head and I had no business saying it. Tried the weight transfer, didn't work.
What are you doing?
Oh my God! I'm done, bro. So basically the game is structured pretty simple. You have your car, and then there's a couple like small time racers you run into. You go in, they're on the radar, you find them, you flash your lights at them, and then you have to follow them to start their series of races. Now, out of that whole little thing, I wasn't really a fan of having to follow behind them around, circles, repeated circles until the race started. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. So you beat those couple guys, and you have like the local champ, you have your boss, and then eventually you have the big boss, Sabo. He's a bitch. So this takes place in, I believe, 3 cities. It was with Paris, it was Tokyo, of course, and I can't remember the other one right now, although that is not important. So you don't really deviate too far from that structure of how each city is set up. So between that, and then you have the various race types. Dog, the race types, all right, standard stuff, okay? But the unordered races can eat a dick. There's never and I mean never, going to be a scenario in my life on video games where I'm playing racing games and I like unordered races where you just go to the points that you want in any order you want. While that sounds nice, it's a pain in the ass because you have to find shortcuts. The computer does all these outrageous things. So I hate it. Okay, that was by far my most hated thing on the game. We're gonna talk AI and other stuff here in a second. And most of the races were pretty simple. You know, it's honestly compared to Midnight Club 3 in LA, what I noticed is that there weren't as many long stretches of road for you to go faster if you were behind and you're trying to catch up or just to maintain your lead. This Midnight Club 2, and it could be I could be a prisoner of the moment in thinking that the other games are a lot different, but it feels to me like when you're driving around a city, because you're in the city itself and there's less time spent on the highway, that there's so many more turns and shit. You need, as far as handling the cars, this by far is the hardest game in terms of me being able to handle. I'm terrible at racing games, but like the way the races are designed, there's just a lot more turns and twists and reverses and all that, especially with the unordered races. I found myself going through a checkpoint and then having to basically do a full burnout reverse and all kind of stuff. Watch out! Let me grab these three, and then after this is where I get confused. I am confusion.
Get smart up there. Do more sharp turns and I'm right back in it.
And this is where I get confusion. And I also want to just put out there that the racing genre as a whole is not something that I really played that much. Y'all really put me on. I want to thank y'all for that, because in our time here, even with, you know, the polls and things like that, y'all have introduced me to tons of different games. And the racing genre is something that I didn't get into until I was really on YouTube. So it was really Need for Speed. And Midnight Club LA was the first one. Then y'all got me onto some Need for Speed. I think we played 3 of those, and now we've played 3 Midnight Clubs. And how could I forget Crash Team Racing, which was also a whole different experience. And I did like that all these games that I played were unique, and the Midnight Clubs were also different. One of the drawbacks from Midnight Club though is that there is no customization. The most you can do is just like 5 different spray colors or paint jobs, excuse me, that you can do for your car. But you can't change the design. You can't put spoilers on. You can't put these nitrous color effects and these things that you can do in the other game. I know it was 2003, but I don't want to hear that bullshit, because just 1 year removed from that, we was playing GTA San Andreas, and there was all kind of customization on that game, and that wasn't even a racing game. As far as the soundtrack goes, we come from the era, or I come from the era where soundtracks were such a big part of the experience. Like I couldn't imagine playing GTA San Andreas and Madden 04 and Madden 05 and any of the older games, Saints Row, which I did play later, but the soundtrack is such a big part of the game that, like, removing that, the game doesn't feel the same. And unfortunately for me, because of YouTube's policies, I had to play this without the soundtrack, because I couldn't even tell you how good and how nostalgic the soundtrack was, because I didn't even get to play it. I couldn't tell you any songs that were on there. Yes, there were songs that were not copywritten on there, but there are also lots of songs that were. And trust me, before I start games, I check. So I can't really speak much to the soundtrack. Now let's talk about the whole ass AI. Okay, the AI. Oh my God. So the AI, the racers you're racing against, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I feel like 3 of those guys are there just to target you. You know what I mean? Oh God. And then you do that! I hate you! Oh man! They're there to spin you out. They're there to do all kinds of stuff. When you're going up ramps, they will bump you into the water and ruin your momentum.
Shaka, you're about to start losing.
Oh, cause they fucking bumped me! There's all kinds of stuff. I specifically feel like they operate like police officers, and they're just there to ruin your fun. And if you accidentally bump them, they don't even care if they win anymore. They will get their get back, and you're gonna be pissed. So you have those people to deal with, and then you have the traffic. The traffic sometimes at random will target you, and that's how they get you. T-boned, you know, a random traffic Like, why are you bumping me? There's 3 purple cars.
I can't see you. Are you still there?
Not only do they do it to you, they do it to each other. So yeah, I've had buses cut me off and trap me in corners.
It sucks.
Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. I have settled on this, and now that I'm like 6 weeks removed from this, I will reiterate my original point. I said it when I was playing, but I'm free of this burden of Midnight Club because I beat it. Midnight Club 2, as far as games I've played on YouTube, is on for sure the Mount Rushmore of difficult games I've played on this platform. It's not even close, bro. It's not even close. And some days, I feel like it could be the hardest game for a couple reasons, and we'll get into that in a second. We had Urban Ring. We had other stuff. Elden Ring was hard. But the thing about Elden Ring is, you know, the whole time there's something about the Souls experience where even if you're stuck on a boss for 2 hours, you know that you're going to beat this boss. You know you have to execute almost flawlessly to be able to do it, but you know you can, right? You know, you learn patterns and things like that. And there is randomness, but there's not as much randomness as in Midnight Club. Midnight Club has no difficulty setting, except for when you put the cheat code in and you can play on an even harder difficulty than the game offers. But like, as it stands with all the randomness, I felt like I needed RNG sometimes to be able to even beat some of the races, and I got it. Sometimes the RNG was usually bad, but every once in a while I got blessed. I'd be in second place close to the end of a race, and one of the AI would just crash into another car, and I'd be able to get past them. Things like that. It was, I'm telling you, bro, this game, everything y'all said was true. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of times y'all say games are hard. They're definitely a challenge, but sometimes y'all say it like I'm not gonna beat it. And I'm not like, I'm not no fucking gaming guru. But like, I always find a way, even if I gotta cheese, you know what I mean? I gotta cheese that shit. I'll figure out a way to beat the games. Basically every time. Midnight Club, I felt pretty hopeless a lot of the times. And you can tell how upset I am with a game when I just stopped talking. And several times I just stopped talking. I think I had 5 rage quits. I think I had 2 rage quits within the first 3 episodes. It's pretty bad for me.
That's a cheap one, mate. Hope you landed.
Yeah, you know, and there's not much to it. You have your slipstream mechanic, you have your nitrous boost, you have your head start, and I do want to talk about, just to touch back on the difficulty thing. When I was a kid, bro, way back, we would say this game's cheating, and I was not validated that it was a real thing until this decade. I felt so heard and seen. They was cheating. There's 2 YouTube videos that you can find and watch at any time. One of them explains how NBA Jam had rubber banding in the game to make the games more exciting, to keep the scores closer together. So as you played, if you were playing bad, it would secretly raise your attributes in the background. If you were winning, it would secretly lower your attributes. It will raise your opportunities to make game winners and stuff if the game was close, things like that. Then we have Mario Kart. Mario Kart, the original especially. You know, you had your rival. This person was always in like the top 3 with you all the time, and you wouldn't often know how they're doing this. Well, it's because of rubber banding. These motherfuckers would phase through walls and stuff when they got far behind and be able to go at speeds faster than what the game offers. So Midnight Club, I looked at it. It does not necessarily have rubber banding. 2 doesn't. 3 for sure has it, because SUVs was hitting the corners like they was driving 300 miles an hour with an amazing handle like a motorcycle. But they do have AI that targets you and makes your life hell. So it's incredibly frustrating. Lastly, I have on here, you know, one of the things that's really a challenge for the game, and I will say, I think Midnight Club 2 was a great game. If you ever hear me say in a video game that I'm playing, I hate this game, that means I love this game. I am just pissed off and I'm having a rough moment. Okay, I said it several times. I think Midnight Club 2 is amazing. It's not better than 3 though. It's not better than 3. But you know, one of the things also is way back in the day, like on the old Mario games, they were challenging, but like some of the levels were designed in such a way that you needed prior knowledge to be able to figure out exactly how to get through the level. I felt like that on Midnight Club several times, where it's like, I'm not going to be able to do this on my first one. All right, I'm going to need to be able to learn how the races go, where the shortcuts are, and all that stuff. And that, for me, that was trial and error. And one of the easiest ways for me was to follow the AI. I know y'all hated it, but eventually I would always figure it out and beat the race. You know, but you definitely needed some prior knowledge. And you know, beating Midnight Club, I said it bumps me out because this is a game that's just been sitting dormant for like over a decade now. If we look at all these big companies that we really admire and we like enjoyed their games for a long time, and then some of their franchises have just been sitting, and with there's no light at the end of the tunnel in a lot of cases, because we don't know that we'll ever see another Midnight Club again. We don't know that we'll ever see another Bully game again. We don't know that we'll ever see a Tenchu game again. We don't know if we'll ever see there's tons of games. We can sit in this comment section and name 1,000 games that we would love to have rebooted and get a sequel. And the best we could do is end up on a Kickstarter with people who used to make the game, who don't have the big budget, and hope it's good. Same goes for the NBA, NFL, and FIFA Street games. And you see how long it's been since we had a fight night, which they're actually working on now. So playing Midnight Club and playing these old games, while it's a great experience, it bums me out because they have video games just sitting around. We're never going to get a new one. I do think that I'm definitely up for playing some more racing games. And all in all, Midnight Club is a major W, but y'all ain't shit for voting that, and I stand on that. Okay.
What's the goddamn button? Push the goddamn